All right, I'd like to call the meeting to order. It's 7 o'clock and we'll start by saying the pledge. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All righty, we are missing Nicole tonight, so do I have a motion to put Christina in as our voting member tonight?
Make a motion that Christine become a voting member.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, do I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented? Is
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
there a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of the minutes from our October 16th Board of Finance meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from our Board of Finance meeting on October 16th, 2024.
Second?
Second.
All right, discussions or corrections? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Public participation. Doesn't look like we got a big crowd out there tonight, so. You got participation?
I mean, a bigger crowd.
I'd like a bigger crowd, sure, why not? Guess it depends on who it is. Communications, I have none.
I have none.
None, all righty, we're flying right through this one. Monthly reports, town, Amy.
I don't think I have anything special unless somebody has a question on something. Everything's rolling along pretty well. I haven't made my interest budget yet, but we upped it from 100 to 250, so I'm only at 229.
Oh, please.
So if they really take a hit, I guess we could not make budget, but we probably will. And everything else is what expecting. We're a little low on building permits, 114, but it's not going to be a busy time of year, at least through winter, so. Unless anybody has any specific questions on revenue, that's where we are.
I just had a quick observation when I was looking on page A81 under tax collection. It said prior year taxes, we had budgeted, we actually collected 202.
Yep,
Is
that's normal.
that's normal to get?
Yeah, so the complaint of the tax collector is that we expect too much from her. So that she always budgets low and always exceeds.
Okay,
Both the 60 and the 100 are really too low.
okay,
So if you look the 60, she's 202, the 100, she's 106 already.
yeah,
So 4 months in, she's met both of those.
yeah,
So, but the claim is that we can only collect so much when we clean up the old by doing tax sales and stuff. There's not that much out there
right,
to then say we're going to collect.
right,
So,
okay.
Alrighty. I just had a couple things that stuck out to me under the expense size,
okay.
and one was under legal town council. We're a third of the way through the year and we're over 50% of budget spent.
That was an issue last year too.
That, sure. Thoughts?
There's a settlement in there, wasn't there?
Last year there was, but not so far this year.
We budget 200, we're at 105, and like I said, we're basically 4 months into the budget year.
200 in labor or general council?
General council.
General. We're already at 105. We're halfway spent.
I'm not sure I can look into that and answer back.
Yeah, I mean, it's the one of the things I red flag getting to be a quarter of the way through the year. And the other one, I think they're okay, but it's, I had it under, I just gotta go find it, give me a second here. Almost there. It was just in communication, radio system, we're at just 68% and 20,800 spent, and we budgeted 30. And Talon Dispatch, I assume we just made one lump sum payment to.
Column dispatch, we do only pay one lump sum.
Okay.
And the communications, I think it's just we have a contract for 15 and then we pay so much a month for a different.
Okay, all right,
So
so,
one of them is a set 15 that's probably already paid the
okay,
whole year.
okay,
And then the other one is monthly.
okay. Those are the only ones that really stuck out to me as being you said, a third of the way through the year that didn't seem like that we were trending ahead of. So. Other than that, I had no more questions. Anybody else? No. Okay. We will move on to Board of Ed financial 24-25.
Yes, unfortunately, Ryan Snyder sick today, so he's unable to make it. Finance, so basically everything's on track. Not sure if there's any questions I can do my best to answer. Yeah, make sure I follow up.
There's nothing that stuck out to me when I looked through it, but the only question I have, just because things are changing in Washington DC, what percent of your budget, and you don't have to answer this tonight, but if you could the next time, is based on federal revenue?
I can have that.
Next time would be just fine. I just, it may affect going forward, and that's my only.
Yeah,
Concern
well,
is-
I mean, I can tell you, our federal revenue, our title grants.
Mhm.
So. Yeah. So. Station at the state level. And a little bit more information, we anticipate further reduction, not just us, but like,
Mhm.
Obviously. Cheers.
So I can answer part of it. Their general fund is none. That's all tax dollars. So it's their school grants, which is 1.7
Points
is
out.
the
That might not
total.
all be,
But that's gonna be the bulk of where you could find them is 8B. They start on page 2 with the ESSER and then go all the way down
Yeah, like
to
that's-
page 8.
Yeah, I looked at that. I was kind of looking through that earlier and I saw one that seemed like it was a big, but ESSER is over with though, right? That money is kaput, done. So, okay. I just, thinking a little bit as to when the budget season comes up. That's all. I'm seeing you're smiling just like I am. Okay.
I mean, when we budget though, we're going. Well.
Yeah.
See this year is essentially those that has that other than this year that significant differences or.
Mhm.
So.
Okay. Good. Any further questions? Okay. Good. That moves us to the 24-25 transfers. They're in here somewhere. It's only,
One.
yeah, there we are. We have transfer number 16 for the police department.
Yeah, I'll do that one. I make a motion for transfer number 16 in the amount of $30,000 to transfer from the contingency fund into the Police Department Professional Services Fund to cover the reimbursement for the Willimantic Police Department for 50% cost of certification training for Officer Guimet.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. And in discussion, I'll just ask for, I see there's a letter in here, but just a quick explanation for the board, if you don't
Yeah,
mind.
so, post standard, police officer standard training council, I put it in place, and there's a statute, 7-294, I think double D. It allows any town to bill another town if you take an officer that's under 2 years of certification.
Okay.
So they go to the academy, there's an expense. They go to FTO, there's an expense. After the FTO, they're considered certified. So it's 2 years from that date. His was like October
Yep.
2023 or something like that.
Mm.
So if he leaves, if somebody were to leave us or leave another town or anything under the 2 years, they can bill you for half of the cost of the training when they're in the academy. I think the letter spells out or.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
That half the salaries, half of all the other stuff.
Okay.
So the benefit to the police department, somebody like us, is that if we were to hire somebody and send them to the academy, they're paid a salary and all the training costs and all the upkeep it takes for them for 28 weeks. They come out on the road for 13 additional weeks on the FTO, and then they start counting towards the minimums. So that would be overtime, we'd be filling and things, and then obviously we wouldn't get the value of them being on the road for that. So to pay that amount of money for somebody to be ready this officer will be on the road in a couple of weeks and counting towards the minimum because they're already trained in Connecticut.
Okay, yeah, I guess the thing I just missed in there is that this officer moved to us from Willimantic and I just didn't, that's my, or my, so, yeah, no,
Yeah, yeah.
I fully understand where you're coming from and it makes perfect sense to me.
Can I ask Chip a question?
Sure.
So, what's it, Luke were to leave us within 2?
Well, if he were to leave us within 1 year, because he's been certified,
So the certification date sticks, it's not
Yes.
a one date, it's certification.
yes, but he's not allowed to leave. Nobody leaves our agency.
Hotel California.
I'm not worried about that, but that's a good question. Actually, in my career, this is the first time it's ever happened. So when we got a letter from Willimantic, it took me back, actually, the deputy chief handled most of this. And I think in part, they didn't have a chief, a deputy chief, or a town manager. They're all acting at the time.
Okay,
But the statute allows them to bill us.
Okay.
So, it's not something that's always done.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've been in this business 28 years. It's the first time I heard it.
Okay.
But it allowed them, so.
Yeah, no,
It's a positive thing.
perfect.
But it would be a steal at twice the price.
Oh, yeah, no, I guess it makes sense. I mean, if you spend all the money.
Was that, Amy, you had it funny, but was the salary,
49?
right, so our officers go at 74?
Yeah.
So,
No, it seemed,
yeah,
So the total of 29 and change isn't even half the salary cost we would be paying for our officer in a year.
correct.
got it. All right. Any further discussion? All right, all those, seeing none, all those in favor of transfer request number 16 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, number 17 for town properties. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion for transfer number 17, town properties to transfer $200,000 from East Windsor Roof Engineering to East Windsor School Engineering. Close out the roof engineering account and move budget to East Windsor Construction Engineering.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, discussion on this. So we're moving it from the town to the school side. That's what it makes sense to me.
Nope,
No, it's-
we're moving it from the bonded account. The
Okay.
3010 is a bonded account. When I originally set up the extra money to go over there, I set it up to bonding, assuming the roof was going to be bonded.
Okay,
Then we found out that the condition of the buildings was not okay to do a roof,
okay,
that we really need to do a whole lot more. That whole envelope thing, they couldn't get the HVAC grant. They said there was no state money coming because of the condition of our buildings. So now we need to do something different with the buildings versus just a roof.
We're reclassing the money for a related purpose, but it is clean and transparent, like what the intended use of dollars is. And
okay,
it's to move forward with putting a plan out for the voters about renovating the street.
oh, so instead of roof engineering, it's just engineering for the school.
Correct.
Got it. That little word, roof, makes the difference. Okay, now it makes sense. All right. Any further discussion? All righty. Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All righty. Reconciliations, Amy?
Yeah, good through October.
Patrick, you probably. Okay.
I believe everything's signed.
Okay, well, you can, when you get the response, you can just let us know. Turns to Board of Selectmen. Jason, anything to,
I have 2 things. I'm not sure if they're broken up individually on your agenda or not.
They are under new business.
Oh, then I'm fine.
okay, all right. So then we'll ask Patrick, you got anything you wanna,
Yeah, my favorite part. So as far as just BOE updates, I can tell you on Veterans Day, it's been a tradition where we go on school and we have our students participate in activities to honor our veterans. So for the second year in a row at the high schools, we brought in veterans and we had 27 veterans come into our high school and middle school to speak with students, share their stories, their advice. We also had a keynote speaker who is East Windsor High School 86 graduate, is retired U.S. Air Force colonial. Bill, I always pronounce his last name, so bear with me. Wheelhauer, and again, and he And there's actually a flag in one of our schools in which he flew on multiple missions in Afghanistan. And my understanding is he did a phenomenal job with as being the keynote speaker. And the feedback both from the veterans and our students was very positive as far as the discussions that took place that day. Certainly at our elementary school, we participated in activities as well as large letters, care packages and such. So I can just tell you, on a personal level, it's one of my favorite days, be in school. Just have our students be there rather than home, maybe playing video games and other things, but actually understanding the importance of that day and why we are. As far as just other upcoming events, tomorrow, the 7th and 8th grade band has a concert in the middle school, 6:30. One day at 6 p.m. at our high school, we have our National Honor Society induction. Winter sports for both middle school and high school will start the Monday after Thanksgiving. That's basketball for both, and then for high school, that also includes indoor track. Talking about budget, after this week, I would have held all additional department meetings for budget for FY26. So that's in motion, understanding, where our needs are. And then just on a note, just want to acknowledge our appreciation for our town partnerships. One with DPW, nation of our high school track. Anyone's seen it on Facebook post, it looks beautiful. Our kids are excited. Sounds like the community's excited. And then also East Windsor PD, including us on the town-wide emergency drill that took place this past Saturday. So they just be more fired to it than I can, but to be a part of it, we appreciate, and by all means, that seemed to go really well at the school. And from someone that just watched on video, Lancers have an acting career ahead of them. But that's everything.
Cool. And I will ask Chief, if you want to give us a little update. I did see your activity going on there over the weekend. You just want to say a few words about that?
Yeah, you know what, I could defer to the deputy chief, who was the chief architect of the whole thing, but the idea was basically that about a year ago, we were trying to get the money, well, less than a year ago, we're getting the money to do these types of drills. And sort of, if we ever had to, God forbid, have a real life scenario, we wanted to see what the communications was gonna be like from police, fire and ambulance and public works and, all the things that come together to make emergency management. But I'll let the deputy chief tell you what a little bit about what we did that day.
Correct.
Yeah, so just following up what the chief mentioned, we did basically 3 different scenarios involving, all 4 agencies in town, agencies being both fire departments, police and fire. We gave them realistic scenarios. We gave them an active shooter scenario. If actually you watched the news today in Enfield, they actually had a lockdown where an 18-year-old student went in and racked a firearm in the school, ended up getting a BB gun. Young man got out of there unscathed. Very foolish thing to do. But again, these are real life scenarios we're dealing with. We went through a chemical spill where students got injured and we had to basically evac folks out of there. That actually happened in Berlin, not more than 2 weeks ago as well. And we gave them a kind of a wacky scenario at the end, but realistic, where a stolen vehicle crashed into a building in which people were trapped, had to be extricated rather, and people were injured inside where there was structural damage to a vehicle. It's actually a call for service that went through in my past career. So we gave our first responders very difficult but realistic scenarios that they had to work through. And interchangeably, we actually got to monitor how they worked with each other, communication wise, transferring, hey, you're in charge of this scene. Police aren't always, we might be the first responders on scene, but we are going to basically be subordinate to the fire or medics on a chemical spill. When there's structural damage, what do you guys need to do to braces who we're taking care of? So basically the chief, myself, and a number of the other administrators sit back and watch. And we actually, we got our CERT members and town people acted as volunteers. So we got people who got a firsthand view of how they work, and very confident, very pleasantly surprised how well everybody did. I'm very confident in the abilities put forward by the people in this town. Very proud of our officers. I can speak for that, and I'm sure the other fire and medics say the same. So it was a good drill. To my understanding, that hadn't been done here in town. Again, Chief is the EM director, and I know for selectmen, that was a big thing that they wanted to push forward. Hey, we want to collectively get people here and test our training. We can't put it down to 747 out in the middle of, corporate field, but seriously, what we can do is train them what we have. Moving forward, we're going to do tabletops, and the following year, we're going to do something realistic. So by my understanding, it looks like everyone got something out of it, and one team worked together, so I'm very proud of that. And that speaks volumes for the people here doing the work.
Great.
But we have to say that we couldn't have done it without the cooperation from the schools, because Dr. Triple brought it up, but it's invaluable to have a building to be able to do that. It can be disruptive, and there's a cost there.
Yeah.
And I can't report that with the end of town with both actors, but I've not heard from Hollywood yet, so. You still have to have your day job.
I played a dead guy. I mean, how much does that take, really?
Not tall enough to get a call back.
I just want,
Didn't know enough to keep his eyes closed.
I just have one question. Do you guys have like all the schools, the layouts of the school? So if there is ever an event that where you want to go in, or what the hallways look like in the, like a blueprint of the schools?
We do.
Okay.
We have access to a couple of different areas, and then we've gone through a few times in the summertime where they've opened up the schools. And so when you guys renovated the elementary school a few years ago, we had teams of officers walking through like the new wings and stuff like that. There are security things that we have put in place that we won't discuss, obviously. But the officers are aware of what's on the outside of the school, different numbering of where they go. And on this event, honestly, the first time, and I don't know, I'll speak just for myself, the first part of the very first scenario, I actually thought the officers were going to go through the front door and encounter an issue, and they actually flanked the building and came in from the side. So they knew exactly the layout and what to do, and I thought they were very quick. So yes, to answer your question, yes, we do have those resources.
And with both of the sessions, there was a morning session and an afternoon session. The first drill being the possibility of a school shooting. From the time that the officers entered the building until they were told there was an active shooter. What they weren't told is that there were two. And it took less than 4 minutes for them to either apprehend or drop both of them. Less than 4 minutes both times, including the new guy who just approved the transfer funding for, served basically as a tactical lead on the second one in a very impressive manner. He knew exactly what to do in terms of formations, and basically with a week and a half on the job, taking lead tactic.
Perfect. Good. All righty. Well, we appreciate you putting the time and effort into that, and glad you have plans to do it again in the future. Thank you. All righty. Did you get?
I did. So Ryan Say confirmed with Kim that their funds are reconciled and nothing outstanding there.
Good. Very good. All right, we'll move on to new business, and the first one is discussion and approval of the 25-26 budget letter. I think I saw one in this package. Maybe I didn't.
Next to the last page.
You guys have the clean copy. This is the red line. Just take one and pass it down.
Thought it was easier to read.
It is,
Sorry.
but this will give you a sense of what changed. There's not a lot. I'll tell you the
At the weapon was whether or not we wanted to set a specific target, which we typically have done in years past, and that typically has been 2%. The compromise was to suggest that we encourage people to try and submit something with a 2 in it, but not to say that it's a 2% submission. The deputy first selectman wanted to not have any target at all, leave it open-ended to the departments. The rest of us felt like there should be some parameter to operate within, and the kind of the compromise was to say a little bit of a softer approach than we have taken in years past. And I could argue pros and cons to both sides. On the more conservative side, this is the year where people will know what the impact of revaluation is on them, and probably will be a little less inclined to accept any more of an increase. Most people saw some to a considerable tax increase last year. Not everybody. Some people saw their numbers come down, but those people who saw them go up saw them went up a lot. Conversely, and I've heard this from folks in the community too, The community is changing a bit. There's a realization that 2% really is not realistic for the services that we need to provide throughout the budget. And that, you know, it might be time to try the voters' minds a bit with something that's more fitting to what our needs are. So where we landed was really to say it should be something in the twos, but we're not going to be overly scrutinous at the outset. Other than that, I think the red lines speak for themselves. And there wasn't much else from the discussion that I feel needs to be released.
Any comments? No, I'll just say that, you know, as I said, I know we've tried to stay at 2%, but like I said, if, you know, I think I said it last year too, but if the department really feels something important that puts them up way above 2, I think it definitely needs to be considered and talked about. So I agree with your wording.
And that's really what I need from the Board of Finance this evening, is either, you know, ratification of the draft or any changes that you think we ought to make. But I want to get this out to department heads so that they have sufficient time to put something together. Last year we were not just late, but I think significantly late. It was just tight for them. So I want to make sure that we're getting this out really end of this week.
Anybody else comments? Want to say anything? So you do need you want a motion from us to approve what you do? All right, so do I have a motion to approve Jason's draft letter to the departments in town?
Make a motion to approve Jason's draft letter to town.
There a second?
A second.
Further discussion? Seeing none, proceed to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Alrighty, next up is discuss and potentially, maybe we will, approve the capital improvement plan, which is the last page, I believe. The budget packet. Right, I mean, the projects are ranked from the CIP committee. Seemed like a pretty straightforward. Don't know if there's any questions, comments, discussion.
So before you guys move forward, the reason this is before you now is because the way that LoCIP has local capital improvement has been awarded has changed. It used to be that it was done on a project reimbursement model. So a municipality would do a project that fit the criteria in the statute for LoCIP, and then they would submit for reimbursement. LoCIP has changed that. So now it is an advanced funding source, but you need to do a project that's off of your capital improvement plan. So what we're doing is I asked the capital improvement committee to put forward the capital improvement plan for the town, which the selectmen have signed off on, and we're asking you guys to do now so that I can bring this to the town meeting on December 19th. So our legislative body will accept the capital improvement plan. What is not included here is the awarding of specific dollars, because we don't know what the 25, 26 dollar amounts are going to be yet. So we're setting up basically in the budget, we're approving the establishment of the lines for each project so that they will be part of our approved plan. And then as funds become available, either through the budget process or through LoCIP or through grant opportunities or whatever, we can pick off of a legislatively approved capital plan. So this is different than you've seen in the past, and that's why it's different, is because the state's conditions have changed, and we're trying to tee this up, and we'll continue to do this annually in the future, so that the CIP plan as a plan would be adopted at the annual town meeting in December.
So this is for year,
25, 26.
so not this current budget year, but the next.
Yep.
But it's going to, once the legislative body adopts the plan, we can start pulling projects off it.
Okay.
And that's, by the way, typically what we do when there are additional funds that are available. The first thing that Amy and I do is we look at what didn't get funded in the capital improvement.
Yeah.
This is just codifying that so that we have something to draw.
So the project request column says 5,163,000.
Yes,
The initial allocation is 1.7 million.
that's the requested allocation.
Requested
You
out.
guys are not allocating anything because you don't know that that's what's in the budget.
That's what CIP asked.
Okay,
the
so
selectmen
I
for.
guess that's clarifying for me. So position reapproved, whatever we approved in the budget. I can't remember what the number is right now. It's here,
1.2.
1.2.
You're effectively accepting the project name and the project rank.
Okay,
The other three categories, the project request, the initial allocation and total project cost are really TBD.
okay,
But and what I asked CIP to do is say, when they got all the applications in front of them and they did their hearings, if you think the project that people are requesting is a bad idea, don't include it. If it's something that you'd like to do, but we don't have the funding for, include that, because we might be able to find another way to do it. So really what I asked them to do is take what was in front of them and only cross off those things that they didn't want to see before.
And roughly, what was that? Like roughly how many items?
I don't think did you take anything up? If they were so insignificant that I can't remember there.
Fair enough.
I will say the thing not on here is the schools and school construction, and it was because there wasn't really a price. Though it is coming,
We've got other.
yeah, so.
but it still really needs to get on our CIP. When we have an idea of a price, it really needs to get on our projects. Because it is a project that we want to move forward.
All right, any further questions, comments? Okay, and do I have a motion to approve the capital improvement plan that was presented to us? And again, it doesn't stay on it, but it's for the year 25-26. Motion,
I'll make a motion to approve the town's capital improvement plan for 2025-26 as presented.
is there a second?
I'll second it.
Again, I'll just ask one more time, discussion?
Just for the record, that'll be on the town meeting on December 19th.
Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next part of new business is the review of the annual report review and approval.
So I didn't give you guys a whole lot of notice because I got it today. You got it about 30 seconds after I got it. But I do have a couple more copies on the copier if somebody wants a hard copy. But if by tomorrow, you can let me know if you have more changes. There's like 4 changes in here that I noticed. Like one of them is my variance column is missing. It has the original budget, the final and the actual, but the variance to budget column disappeared. But you'll notice it's on all the rest of them. And the other ones are all just small type of things, missing a row. I had them change. The CIP talks about that project list attached, and I have them just changing it to say the table provided on page 44, because it's a few pages after versus something attached and having nothing below or the next page. I just changed where it's referencing where the page actually is so people can find it. But that's all I noticed in this draft. We had already made a lot of changes a couple of times.
We've been through it a bunch of times.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Marisa
you found something?
Powers, Pryor's name is spelled wrong.
Oops.
It only has one S, not two.
Marissa Pryor?
Marisa,
Yeah, Marissa.
yeah.
That's a good one to note.
Well, if we, like I said, it was emailed to us today. I skimmed some of it. I didn't spend
Yeah,
a lot of time.
I'm sending them to her.
Okay.
Okay.
We have time to look through them in the next couple of days and send anything you might catch to Amy
Tomorrow afternoon.
tomorrow. afternoon.
Sorry.
At least tomorrow afternoon. Got it.
It needs to go to the printer because the printer is the same one who does the CCM conference. So they're trying to get us done in time for our December 19th meeting before they do the conference stuff, which is December 3rd.
Gotcha.
So they're really in
All right.
that they need us done this week.
So if you have a few minutes tonight, go home and look it over tonight. Go from there.
I found a font error.
Right after
I'll show it to you
basketball game.
later.
Okay.
Wow.
After the basketball game.
Half hour into it, but, all right, so I guess don't really need a motion to approve it, just because it's already done, it's just a matter of any corrections.
How do we do that? Does it have to be approved by this board for a charter? Yes.
Okay,
It's actually supposed to be put together by this board.
yeah, it looks like, I'll staple.
Better.
I was on the board. I had to do it.
All right, so I guess I'll ask for a motion to approve the annual report as presented, barring any approvals that we may, any changes that we may catch as we review it tonight or tomorrow morning, hopefully. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Okay. Keep leaving with my wording, huh? I'll clarify that if you didn't catch it, so.
No, I did,
Okay, good. Is there a second? I'll second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have no unfinished business unless someone can think of anything.
I have one thing and it's not on the agenda, but I just realized our dates are not right for May. And I don't know if you guys care or not. When I submitted it to town clerk, I picked May 14th, which I must have done like the next day. But it really should be the week after. That's only the second
Yeah.
Wednesday. That's what we voted on and approved. So I don't care if we keep it there. If we don't pass on the 13th, we would be doing something on the 14th anyhow. But I don't know if you want to have our whole meeting then or not.
If we're gonna meet, because we have to meet anyway, if it does pass to approve the
Yep.
mill
Mill rate.
and all that, we may as well just have our monthly meeting that time.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
Leave it as it
Anyone
was
else-
approved.
That's my opinion, that anyone wants to.
Better save the date
If we're gonna
anyways.
be here, we're here. And that's my busiest time of year, so less times I have to be out, the better.
Well, that works for me. I just happened to notice, they called me and said, do you realize that's not the third Wednesday?
Well, as long as the room's available, I guess we're good. So, but if you put in the date now, it's available for us, right? So. All right, we will, any other comments on that? All right, we'll leave it as is then, as approved. That moves us to board member comments. Tom? Tom? Also, good.
Just hope everybody has a good Thanksgiving and gets to enjoy their time off.
Christina? All right, like I said, driving by town, center town a few times over the weekend, I was really happy to see you guys doing a drill, so thank you for that. And I'll ditto have a great Thanksgiving and the beginning of the Christmas season. For a Christmas tree guy like me, that's good, so you see cars parked on Quinnsville Road, it's probably my fault. But thank you all for attending. It's great to see the police department attending our meetings too. And if you do come, we'll just slide you in and ask you for, if you want to make any comments. I do appreciate you being here. So with that, our next meeting will be December 18th. We have a regular monthly meeting, which as I look at that date, I will not be here. I will be in New Hampshire at a conference. Tom, in your hands.
I'm usually here.
Okay. And for that, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Meeting is adjourned. Thank you all very much.
Yes.
I didn't find it. I've got it.
Okay, just,
Yeah,
or,
I found two.
okay.
I sent them
To Melissa, okay, perfect.
December 19th, the other day
It's
after
really her job more than mine.
I've been
Yeah.
researching.
regular meeting.
Monday day,
Doing the fruit and vegetable every other year. Up there.
which is the end.
We're back on the 19th.
Context,
Oh, no, this was in the
It's
front.
on there anyway.
It was in the front where some people,
40 minutes, like 30 minutes less.
I just hope the team is playing you guys at the.
going, yeah, some people are the name first and then. And it's Richard.
oh, and then it switches.
Yeah, so I told her, it's off, name first and then title. I just, that was the only other one I picked out so far.
Oh, yeah, because how, Helen shouldn't it be, Amy shouldn't it be,
Yeah.
and shouldn't it be?
Yeah, so Len should
It's
be
like every,
first.
yeah, it's like every other one is wrong.
Yeah,
Helen should be first, Amy should be first, Ruth Ann's fine,
yeah,
Glenn should be first. Leslie's fine, Ken's fine, and Josh.
yes. I sent that to.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
His Marissa's also with one on G1. Jason spelled it with two S's.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Not make it.
Not me. That's my most favorite time of the day.
Yeah. Process.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. I wonder if all our critics.
Well, you know what happens, there's big costs, and then when it comes time to it, they don't bother.
Yeah.
Which is a
Put a board back.
Yeah, they're